Tune in to Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network channel. May the sports be with you. Because I am the hero the Sports Jedi deserves, but not the one it needs right now. Long live Lexus King.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network YouTube channel. Today we have a good guest. We have a great guest. Can't wait to speak to her. I'm going to bring her in. Of course, New York born, Puerto Rican descent, terrorizing the South California area. And with no further ado, I'm going to bring her in. La Bebesita Mala, the one and only Miss Angie Savage, joining us here. What's going on, Miss Savage? How are you?
Hey.
Hey, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. I want to get right into this. My first question to you is, tell us how you fell in love with this beautiful, wonderful art that's professional wrestling. Was as a match, an event, someone in your family? For me, I tell you, my love for professional wrestling starts with my grandfather. He got me into professional wrestling, watching it back in 1984, and for near on air, here I am now. So tell us about your love to professional wrestling and made you want to get in the ring too.
So my relationship with wrestling is a little weird, I guess. I used to watch it as a kid with my dad, and then my preteen years, I kind of fell away from it, like away from it because I stopped watching it with him. And then I kind of like, even though it was wrong, we kind of like whatever, we grew apart, so wrestling grew apart with me. So I was like in and out of wrestling. But about 5 years ago, I came back into wrestling. I was working with Mission Pro at the time for their production side of things, and I used to go out to Texas for their shows and help and everything. And one of the times I was out there, I was doing photography, and as the girls were doing things and practicing, like I was hearing the ring, like the bumps. I was like, I think I want to do that. And then at the time, the person that I was with was like, well, you like to talk a lot of shit, so go try and see. I was like, all right, let me see. Fine, I'll go. And yeah, from the very first time I entered the ring and I did a bump, I was just like, yeah, this is it. I want this.
Wow. So you fell in love with your first bump. And you know what? That answer doesn't surprise us. We hear that a lot with the talent that we have interviewed here. That euphoria, that rush of your taking your first bump, it kind of tells you it hurts, but I want more. It's like a tattoo.
Yeah.
You know, they say you get addicted to a tattoo. You get a tattoo and you want more. Yeah. So tell me, who are one of those first people to train you, to get you into the business, broke you in, anyone that and how's your relationship currently with those?
So I was training when I first started to like dip my little toes in it. Because I was working with Mission Pro, I was training for like 2 months at the Dog Pound with Thunder Rosa, Jazz, and Rodney because they were the ones that owned it. It was fun. It was good. It was very everything was like, this is gonna suck, but it'll pay off. Do it. 100 rolls. Do this. Handstand. I was like a handstand. I don't even know what I can't even do a damn handstand. I had to do like a handstand bump. And the one who taught me was Jazz. Jazz taught me my handstand bump. And I remember like she looked at me and she was like, Angie, I don't like bumping, but I'm gonna do this because you're gonna do this. And I'm like, okay. And she did it. And after that, I was like, I have to freaking do this because if I don't, like, bruh, that's an insult to her. So I was like, I have to conquer. I have to, like, that moment to me was like, I have to win. She bumped for me. I have to win. I have to do this. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. I was like, hey. But yeah, Jazz, Rodney, and Thunder Rosa were the first ones who taught me like how to do my rolls and my bumps and run the ropes, which F those ropes. They took me the longest to learn, but I love them now. But yeah, that was like, they didn't baby me, but they very they helped guide me with like the I don't know, kind of just like, you can do this, go do it. I did.
Yeah. So they installed you the great fundamentals because you have a great teacher in Jazz. One of the you could talk about not just women wrestler period, in that modern era, her time in the ring as well as current, former All Elite Wrestling Women's Champion in Thunder Rosa, her rise through Lucha Underground and her story. You had good foundation there to teach you in Mission Pro Wrestling. Were they the ones that influenced the nickname of the Bebesita Mala, or tell us the origin of that one? That one to me is
Oh,
interesting.
Bebesita. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That one kind of has like a lot of different reasoning on why La Bebesita. So like, okay, Bebesita from like home life. It was always because I was like, soy la blanquita in the family. Like everybody's more tan than me. Soy la blanquita. I was always la bebecita, la nenita, la, oh shit, be careful with her, whatever else, not, you know? So like my family would call me la bebecita, like, ah. And then when I started wrestling or training to wrestle, I used to get called mamacita. And then I don't know if it was Jazz or Rodney. I was like, ah, la bebe. I was like, oh. And then somebody said, mamacita at a distance. I was like, oh, bebecita. I was like, okay. And then I was just like, it kind of just stuck. I was like, ah, okay, cool. I like it.
I like it. I like how you put together, and siempre en lucha libre and wrestling, whenever you do some realism into your backstory, into your creative, it always hits because you know you're not faking the funk because it's a piece of you. You, like you just
Yeah.
mentioned, and I appreciate you mentioning that story. That was a really good insight on the name. Now I want to ask this: we get the name going. Now the style. What do you consider your wrestling style? Base wise, are you a hardcore extremist? Because I have a clip that I want to share with the crowd.
Yeah.
First and foremost, let's share the clip because I've been chomping on a bit. This is Angie Savage, where she has a rough day, but in the ring she has some therapeutic violence, and let's take a look at
My
that.
heart.
Wow, talk about your therapeutic session there, and you
Yes.
got your hand raised. My goodness, tell us about that
Yes.
match. Yes.
That match to this day, it's always gonna be one of my favorite because it was on 316. So you already know. It was
Ooh,
316
so
day, bro.
you open up a can of whoop ass.
Yes, yes. And they're like, just go out there and do your thing. I was like, yeah, okay, I want to do my thing. Um, that match, like, I needed that match. I needed that match a lot more than I thought I needed it. I was having a really hard time prior to that match with like just everything in general. And man, when I got there and I like just do your thing and I was able to like let loose and really like give into my intrusive thoughts because I would say like I'll think of something and I'll be like, nah, I can't, shouldn't do that, I shouldn't, whatever. It's like, nah, fuck it, this, I'm gonna do it all. Um, it was a good match. It was heavy hitting. It was heavy hitting. Like we really went in on each other. We really went in
All
on each
that.
other. She got beer in my eye and I couldn't see for like half the match. I was like, okay, we do this blind. It's okay. But it was very that match really was very therapeutic. After that match, I was like I kind of realized like I really like every time I wrestle, I always realize I want to do this more and more, and why like I have to do this. But that match let me be me, and genuinely feel bleh, sorry. That's where like Angie Savage La Bebesita was really like born because there was just full on like everything that I felt and everything I was holding on to is like I'm going to release it here and leave it here, and what happens happens, you know. Uh, yeah, very heavy hitting match. Very on the fly of, hey, let's just, F you, and we'll just figure it out. But
I like when
that
you
that
say that.
match, huh?
No, I like when you say that because when it came to my mind when your name Angie Savage was always thinking, brother. You
Yes,
know.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that definitely up. I love that. And and by the way, I saw another clip earlier to that. Or I don't know if it was the same match or different match. Was she had a title? Was that for a world title at that time?
No, no, and I was mad because it should have been. It should have been. It should have been because I would have had it. Um, it
Yeah, the
wasn't, but like,
Yeah, because the
what was
referee
it?
raised your hand. Your referee raised your hand, showing and pointing
Mhm.
you the winner. I thought you were the new champion. I'm waiting, looking for a follower for you to hold the title, and I didn't see it. So I said I had to have that question because, man, you gave her an ass whipping on
I
316.
did. I did. I did. I hella did. Like she got me back though. She hella got me back, but I did. But no, it wasn't for the title match. I was so bummed. I was bummed. But it was the title that she held up though in the beginning was from a different promotion. So I was like, okay,
Um,
but like, you know, it's okay. I'm gonna come after her. She knows it. I'm coming after her ass.
so obviously we saw that violent, that hardcore street fight type of deal that you had, and I know you recently had some steel cage match. Now, your style of wrestling is it that kind of violent, AK? Because I see a little Thunder Rosa violence in there, influence in your matches there. Is that something? It's safe to say you're a striker, go getter, fighter, or you do some technicals or a little lucha. Tell us a little about your wrestling style.
So my wrestling style is it's a little bit of everything. I like striking. I do. I like hitting people. I really do. I like striking. But I do technical. I like doing technical stuff too because I do BJJ. I do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I've been off for like the last 2-3 months because personal reasons, but I'm gonna get back into it this upcoming month. And I recently started Muay Thai, so I like violence. I like violence. I like fighting. Um, I like the strikes. But like my style is I'm gonna match my opponent because I'm gonna study you and whatever you're doing, you're good at. I'll try to outdo you because my goal is I want to win, and whether I win because my hand is being held up or I win because I show that I can freaking do this and I made you earn that win. One or the other, I'm winning. Um, but like I do strikes, I do technical, maybe not powerhouse. Soy chiquita. Maybe
Well,
one day. Maybe I'll pick
fair.
up a pa. But I guess like more technical and striker. Submission, because BJJ, man, I want to be ripping people's arms off and their legs. Just choke them. It's a little bit everything. My style is like, I'll be honest, I'm still trying to figure out like I can't pinpoint one specific style because I like to do it all. And like I genuinely believe that if you're gonna wrestle, you need to know how to do it all to be the best at it. And the goal is to be at least one of the top females, in the division. Because if not, why am I doing it? You know?
Yeah, always striving for excellence. And that's the
Yeah.
goal in anything, in any walk of life. If it's wrestling or anything, even in doing this
Facts.
podcast or anything, we want to do always. Well, there's always a level of excellence to achieve, and once you think you have that, there's still another level to achieve. So I like your thought process.
Yes.
Love it. Love your
Yes.
thought process.
Yes.
Love your
Yes.
thought process. You're on the
Thank
right
you.
track and the right path. Let me ask this: when it comes to when you said studying your opponents or a particular wrestler that you like to watch to motivate you in your style. Let me, when I saw this here, All Japan or, maybe something ECW or WWE, All Elite, anyone, is there a particular that you study and watch and say, let me see if that I can incorporate that? Or is that you just studying your opponent and say, I'm going to do this because I know I was trained to do this, this, and this.
I think a little bit of both, but mainly like I study Zack Saber a lot because
Great
he's
one.
technical and submission and stuff, and the way he goes about things, like, oh yeah, I like that. I want to do it. And then Pete Dunne's another one that like I've been studying recently because like he's just nasty with doing it, like the fingers and it's just like you know. But I take what I learned like at BJJ and Muay Thai, and I'll put it into my wrestling. And then I do study Zack Sabre and stuff. It's like let me see the way. he maneuvers from one thing to another and how smooth he does it. But then like with when I study my opponents, it's that I'm gonna see what you do and what I can like make work to be better. You know, I don't. I think I answered that,
No, I
but
got you.
yeah,
I understood that one. No, I
I'm a
understood
little
that one.
everywhere.
And I know you got
Okay.
that admiring of Zack Sabre Jr. Where tell us how and I seen in your biography and I seen that you have an opportunity at New Japan Showcase, New Japan Academy Showcase 5, and tell us how did that happen? How did you were able to get to that part? Because that's it to me, that's a great accomplishment.
To train at the LA
The
Dojo.
the dojo, the LA dojo, yes.
Honestly, I kind of so what led me because I live in Arizona. And I've been back and forth from California and Arizona, so part time here, part time there. You know, because my shoot works over there too. Um, but back and forth. I was out in Arizona, and I felt like kind of like got stuck in a box there. And then I learned about the New Japan Pro Wrestling LA Dojo out here, and it kind of was my like my one more because I got to a point where I almost called threw in the towel for pro wrestling because I was going through a lot of health issues and personal stuff, and it had me where I was like delaying a lot of things. Like as I started training, and then I had to step away for almost a year and a half from how bad my health got. And then when trying to get back into it, it was constant. It was a fight. It was a fight, and I had to relearn a lot of things. Like, well, just to like put whatever to it. I went through some stuff where like my brain kind of like choked out a little bit, and so I had to relearn a lot of stuff when I came back. So it was like starting from over. But then I felt like I got put in a box over there, and I wasn't going anywhere, and I was about to throw in the towel, and then I was told that the dojo was doing the academy, and they were accepting applicants and whatever, and I was like, I F it. Let me do one more. Let me take a chance on myself. Let me bet on me and let me see because I'm gonna go. And if I go and it works out, then I know I could do this. And it wasn't that whatever. Like let me go see because everybody back over there, like I felt like they didn't really believe in me anymore because of everything that happened and where I got put. So I was like, let me take a chance on myself. And I came this way. And gatita, bájate. Um, sorry, my
You good?
cat. But I came this way and I took a chance on myself and uh yeah, and it was my like my Hail Mary. It was my Hail Mary. I was like, let me go and see. And I came out here last May for the dojo and I spent half the summer staying with a friend and then half the summer living in my car. Um
Wow.
but I did what I had to do. I came out here and then it was basically unlearning everything that I learned and learning their style and their way. And I picked up on it quick. And it was one of those, like, it benefited me. It was one of the best roll of the dice that I ever did because it benefited me because, like, here I am today. Whereas, like, my one more led to Academy 4 to Academy 5 to then afterwards, all the opportunities that's opened up for me. And like, I graduated the Academy August, I think 13, 3rd or 13. It's something with a 3. I can't remember right now, um, but like hitting like almost a year mark for my graduation with them, I've it's opened up so many opportunities for me where it's just like, all right, let me keep going and see where it takes me. Like, yeah, and me being with them is like uh, an impulsive decision. It's like, all right, one more shot. Let me see.
I think personally, I'm a believer that nothing happens in this world without a purpose or reason. For your situation, a negative that you thought about walking away and letting it go looks like it's turned into something extremely positive. And I want to take a moment for those people that are watching us from all the different platforms. Some independent wrestlers that are watch us and follow us and is going to hear this. There's always, you don't quit. You always readjust, reassess, and move forward in anything. Put your best foot forward and go ahead. And of course, for an opportunity to have bookings for Miss Angie Savage. You can see it there. It's bookings at savagebebesita@gmail.com. So let's get her book. Let's fill up her remainder of the summer into the fall of
Yes.
2025 and
Oh,
beyond. So
yes.
please, for all those our friends that looking female wrestlers that need opponents that would like to wrestle someone who's been in the New Japan Academy, a graduate, and tries a different style. If you want, in all our East Coast friends, wrestlers, there's the opportunity for her to travel or vice versa. Get with her email where you guys can find a promoter, independent promoter, and get some bookings. Puerto Rico, we know we got a lot of our
Yeah,
friends from Puerto
yes.
Rico. Yeah, let's go. Bebesita
Yes,
Mala wants to
let's
go to
go.
Puerto Rico. Let's go. Yeah, she wants to go wrestle. I'm calling out a couple of our friends. Tomorrow we have a very important guest tomorrow from Puerto Rico, Lady Shadow from EWA. We're gonna have that in Spanish, so I'm gonna have my Spanish language going on, my Spanglish, like they say. But I
Eh,
can't wait to interview her, and of course, I'll definitely throw that out there, of course, for bookings, and that's what we want. We want to network everyone from all the different independent wrestling scene to work with one another and grow and get bookings, because that's what you guys want. You're out
Yeah.
there entertaining us. We want to book, make sure that you get booked in the city near us.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep. Yes. Let's go.
yeah,
Oh.
let's do this. I had this other question when it came to the academy. You had been in the ring, as you see it scrolling down, with numerous folks, ladies that are household names. Me personally,
Mm.
you wrestle with the wife of certified Luke Curtis. Shout out to Luke Curtis. I'm a big fan of him in OVW when he was on OVW. Miss Leila Grey. Tell us your experience. And I got a clip on that, but first and foremost, I want to hear your experience, then we'll put that clip. Getting in the ring and grappling with Miss Leila Grey.
I was scared. I ain't even gonna lie. Cause I was scared. It's Leila Grey. And, like, it was a good experience. Like she tested me, like, because again that was my second time with the academy, so I was Academy 5. Um, so I went from one academy where it's like starting from scratch to learning their fundamentals to now coming back and doing advanced and showing like what I can do and know what she can do. It was one where it's like that I grew a lot with that match. She helped me a lot, but I grew a lot with that match. I was one where it's like it was very humbling and very exciting to like not that I was cocky as fuck or anything like that. Hold up, because I am humbled for the most part, but it was a humbling experience in the sense of like I got to have this match with somebody who knows her stuff and has come a long way in this business, which let me put out there que me pagaron no pelo. I might as well put it because it came in my head, right? For when I first met her, it was at Mission Pro, but back then I was the photographer. I was doing production, and to see who she was then and how she evolved to now, it's amazing. And then to have the opportunity to get in the ring with her, that was a blessing. Where like I have to be honest, I don't feel like I deserved it, and when I was in the ring with her, I was like, I don't know what I did to get here or why I have this opportunity. I'm thankful for it, but it's one where it's like it felt so unreal. Um, but that's another match of mine. It's one of my favorite, more because of like how like seeing her then to now, and then it's like here am me, freaking little like Angie, like what have you done in this industry to be in the ring with Leila freaking Grey, bro? And then it's just like, fuck it. What's up?
Look, you know what you've
Wait.
done? Just like Leila. You ladies, lace your boots one at a time. You put on your boots and you lace them one at a time. And she did the same just like you. So never think you don't belong. You do belong with anyone in the ring as long as you
Thank you.
guys tell a story always. I want to show that footage there because this was a nice one. It's a short footage of you and Leila Grey grapping, like the kids like to say. Graps. D, let's effing go. I love that. I love you put that doors choke on her, and by the way, that snap suplex, and you put the bridge there and that arm
Ah,
drag down. Great job. Nice job
thank
there.
you. Thank you. Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. That is great. Let me ask this question. This is a question I know Chris loves to ask. Is about the representation, being a Puerto Rican descent Latina in professional wrestling. How important is it to represent not just Puerto Rico, not just being a Puerto Rican descent, but being Latina, being a female lady in this sport of professional? Now it seems acceptable now when it comes to saying you're from Puerto Rico. Before, Carlito was from the Caribbean, but now we're seeing a change in the industry of professional wrestling, where it's safe to say you're Puerto Rican. You see now Mike Santana, one of the hottest Puerto Rican wrestlers, who might be TNA and world champion, Damian Priest, Selena Vega. Your thoughts to what it feel it is to represent esa cultura Latina and Puertorriqueña in professional wrestling.
Um, I feel honored. I feel honored, but I also feel like, again, it's the whole thing. It's like, well, like, who am I to represent this? Like, am I good enough to represent? Am I, contributing in a positive way, you know? But it's nerve-wracking at the same time, if I'm being honest. It's nerve-wracking because it's like Puerto Ricans, Latinos overall, we have like we're sassy, cabecilludo, or loud, and this and third. Yeah, Um, but it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking because I want to contribute to it in a positive way where, like, people look and, like, what am I trying to say? Find your words, Angie. Find your words. Um, in a way where it's like she's proud to be Latina.
Yes.
And she contributes in a positive way, and not like when people look, it's like, hell yeah, she's Latina, not like, it's una Latina. Does that make sense? That's where my brain's at. I'm sorry. But it's that, like, I wanted it. It's an honor to represent it, but it's also nerve wracking because I want to do it where it's like proud of it, and not where people are gonna look at me like, I don't want any other Latinos to be out there like, she's out there trying to represent us. Ew, I don't want that. So
I always say this: always be proud of your heritage. Olvídate la demás gente. La demás gente viven. That's their. If you're, look, I always have this on my stream. Always, mira, siempre. Always, no matter what, and always representing, always, conducting myself and me leaving this legacy better than it was from our forefathers before. Always getting better, being a better, not just Puerto Rican, being just a better human being, better father, be a better husband,
yeah,
be a better person, and if it happens to
yeah,
be because I was Puerto Rican, so be it. That's great. That's a caveat. So I love that. Always keep pa adelante, siempre pa adelante, like Mike said, pa adelante siempre, and always not looking back, and you're going forward with it.
yeah.
I really like that there. Keep it going. I've got a question that I like to ask all the talent. Tomorrow I'm going to book your passport. I got your passport. I got a plane ticket, and I'm asking you to go a couple weeks on an excursion. Where would you love to? Where would I send you? Where would you love to do like a 3 weeks to 6 weeks excursion in wrestling? Would it be England or Europe, Japan, the Caribbean, or booking Canada, or up and down the United States? Where am I sending you? What's in your heart? What was your something that you would like to do?
I would have to say Japan, but for selfish reasons. But Japan, Japan, because I've always wanted to go there ever since I was a kid, and everything that I've done in my shoot life, it's always like that's always been on my mind. So it's one of those, like, I feel like with wrestling, I have more of the opportunity to, like, get there. So if you were booking me wherever else at, Apple, that'd be where I would want to go first, and then maybe Canada, because I hear they're really nice out there. So maybe Canada.
You want to terrorize the nice people of Canada. La Bebesita Mala wants to
Yes,
go.
yes. Oh my God, yes, yes. That's like the only time I'll go and represent the Latinos in a bad way, because I'm going to be an ass. I mean, but a nice.
Okay. And you know what? I think 90 95% of our talents that we have had on always say is Japan. 95% when I tell them we're this same question, always says Japan.
Mhm.
The excursion. Look, Janai Kai said, she had a wrestling match with a Japanese wrestler that came to the United States on a showcase match. They had a match. It opened her door to have a tour twice in Japan, and when she returned, she got signed by MLW. So Japan opens up doors, and when you wrestle wrestlers that come from Japan in the United States, you never know who's watching. I've told this story, and I've told this advice to other wrestlers like Valentina Vasquez. You know, you never know who's going to be that one person that watches your match that could change the course of your life. Even in this video, on this, you never know who's going to listen. That might change not even your course of your life, even my course of our channel's life. You never know that one person. That's why I always say, always strive for the best, and always put your best foot forward, because you never know that one match. It could be 10 people in the arena or in the venue, but you don't know that one person is a scout. You never know what that one person could do and have the influence. So I always tell that there on that match going forward. Let me ask this here, and I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway for our audience. Do you like working as a baby face or a heel? I know that's a dumb question. That's a dumb question at this hour of the interview, but I have to ask it because
I like working like Angie. I don't know. Cause like even when I'm a baby, which I feel like every time I get used to being a heel, they're like, nah, baby, and I have to flip it. And I was like, ah, shit, okay. And then when I'm used to being a baby, like, nah, heel. And I was like, ah, shit. So it's one of those like, I don't know. I'm an aggressive baby. Like, I like heel because I feel like it really gives me the therapy that I need to like just release the frustration of like your everyday and the weight on your shoulder of like trying to juggle everything in life, because like it's yeah. But heel comes to me naturally, but it's just because I get to give in to all my intrusive thoughts, and it's like whatever it's there. Baby, I like being baby. I think I like being baby, and I think I just recently learned. I just learned I like being baby because of the last match I had with Savannah Stone. There was a little girl in the crowd, and the way she lost her shit for me, I was like, "Oh, corazón, yes." My heart was so warm. It was so warm. I was just like, "Dang!" I was like, "Do I like this? I like being baby." I was like, "I just need that. I got to now be an aggressive baby and not curse. I got to work on my cursing, but like." I gotta be an aggressive baby, but I think I like being a baby. Only because of that little girl. Like, she dude, my heart. I was like, oh, okay. This happens? Okay, cool. I'm a bad guy, right? But okay.
No, and you know what? Sometimes it could be a misinterpretation. Just because you're a strong woman doesn't mean you're a heel. Because if you get you're willing to roll up your sleeves, that famous meme with the strong woman, with the lady, doesn't mean that you're a pushover or you're a heel. You're just a strong woman. You getting things done in a positive way. So I understand what you mean when you like that baby face. Let me ask this here: what is the tough challenges as a heel when you notice the crowd as a heel? And I'm gonna ask this for both babyface and heel. When you're a heel and you notice, like, I hate that stereotype, and I hope that we could abolish that in 2026 and beyond. Whenever the women's wrestling, it's time to go get a cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, go on my phone. I gotta, check my social media. How do you get the crowd on you to gravitate them when you're a heel, and vice versa as a babyface? Let's first start with the heel. How do you grab them? Like, do you get in their face and rib them, or give us an example?
Right, as a heel, if I notice somebody's getting up and walking away to basically call my match a popcorn match, I'm calling you out. I love it.
Rightfully so too.
I'll grab whoever the opponent is and be like, hey, and I'll say whatever you have on, whatever you're doing. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna get your attention. I'm gonna be like, this is because of you, and I'm gonna beat them because you made me mad. Why?
I like
you
it.
pay money for this. Sit your butt down and watch this ass beating.
I like it.
As a heel, that's yeah. As a heel, that's what I'm doing. That's what I've done. At least some of the lucha shows I've done, where it's just like, bruh, I'm gonna get your attention one way or another, and then I'm gonna put the person in front of you, and I'm gonna because I feel disrespected.
Beautiful answer. I love it. Now that this is the one that's the challenging one, is the baby face, because you cannot go that route of insulting your audience because you're the baby face. You want is it you selling a little extra on the sympathy aspect, or have you been placed in, maybe you haven't been placed in that situation yet? Maybe I'll ask.
Um, so as a baby face, if I notice that somebody's walking off, because it has happened, and it's like it's a sucky feeling. It is because like it's almost like every wrestler. The moment we get out there, we want to entertain everyone that's there. We are doing this for ourselves, yes, in a way, but also for you guys. Like we want your attention. We want that. So it sucks. It hurts. It hurts. But as a baby face, what I had to do was I have to ignore it, and I'll focus on the ones that are paying attention, and I'll like gravitate towards the child or the person who's like giving me their attention. I'll make that part of my story, because now it's like you are the reason why I'm feeling up with fucking fire in my belly to get back in there and fight. Versus the asshole who decides to fucking leave halfway through the match because he couldn't hold his fist. Like, no. I have to remind myself that. It's like the face, like, okay, they're not worth it. Go here. And I'm not trying to say the fans aren't worth anything. It's just like at that moment, if you're gonna get up and go, and I'm putting my body on the line for you as well as my opponent, and we're entertaining you, that's fine. I respect it. If we're not your cup of tea, that's cool. But I'm not gonna focus on. I'm gonna focus on the people who have and make them part of my story. But as a heel,
That's easier. I got you. Yeah, and that's a
yeah.
great answer. Great answer there, because I asked that question also because it also makes you think at that moment, and you thinking correctly. You're entertaining, and you're going to go. Well, you're going to make the. You're going to incorporate someone who's giving you their time. So I like that. I like that. I like that answer there. You're good. I hope you didn't get any technical difficulties there. So you're good.
It was a little. Okay.
All right, cool. All right. So yes, so we were talking about that babyface heel. Let me ask this question. I always ask this one. This is one of my favorite. Tomorrow or this year, I'm gonna book you, and I'm the booker. I'm gonna book you 2 nights of WrestleMania. I would like you to give me night one opponent, someone in the past that you or that's living or has passed away, that we fantasy booking wise, that we could bring to you to wrestle for night number 1, and night number 2 somebody you would love to wrestle currently, like from any wrestling promotion company. Doesn't have to be a WWE, but we're booking you on WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all. Just fantasy booking. Indulge me. Who would you be your 2 opponents for night 1 and night 2?
Okay, night 1, it would be Randy Savage. Ooh, because yeah. Yeah. His energy with my energy, bro, that'd be crazy. It would be a crazy match. It would be a fun one. Like there would be nobody getting up to go piss or beer or whatever. No, it'd be like fully locked in. Like let's go, Randy Savage show. Because like, yeah, through and through. That would be fun. His like craziness, my assness, it'd be beautiful. It would be perfect. For night two, I would have to say Masha. I want to wrestle Masha. Nice. She's badass. She's badass. And she's scary. She's scary. And that's something for me, where I will man up to anybody. I will man up to the biggest motherfucker ever. I'll be like, yo, let's freaking go. I do not care. But she's scary. And I'm like, ooh, I want to wrestle you. You scary. Like she got my like. She has my interest. Like I would want to wrestle her in a heartbeat. I would. And then like just hearing from other wrestlers about her and the way she is in the ring and like watching her and everything. And she's another one who I saw at Mission Pro, which is where I met her. To see where she's at now is just like it's beautiful. Like her career is beautiful. Her way she wrestles is beautiful. She's beautiful. Like I want to wrestle Masha. That's what I want to wrestle.
That's an inspiration there, from the city, from our city, New York, raised there, going through all the different schools, from Johnny Ross down to Go Mission Pro, watching her now being the face of the knockout division for TNA wrestling. You could say the second or the third biggest wrestling company in the United States. phenomenal what she done, what the work that Masha has done and continues to do in and out, also doing independent wrestling. You never know, one of these days, one of your, you have, hey, I need you to work, and you show up and it's Masha Slamovich somewhere. You never know. You never know. Never limit yourself. Never put limitations on yourself. Remember, authority and words have power. So speak it to existence.
Right.
You never know what could happen there. Let me ask this question. Speaking of that, let's speak things into existence. What are your short-term goals and some of your long-term goals? It could be short-term for the remainder of 2025 and some of your long-term goals all in all in professional wrestling.
Short term, I want to get abs. I need to get better. I need to get my physique better. I gained some weight the last 2 months and I don't like it. So my short term goal is to uh get my physique better. Because like I could wrestle all I want, but I also want to look the part. And I realized that when I tried to put on my pants, I was a little pudgy. I was like, ugh, Angie, stop with the freaking brownies. So that's my short term goal. That and to well, I did say earlier I'm gonna get back into jujitsu. So that would be I think that's more of my long term goal is to belt up. I want to like within the next 6 months belt up, and then a year from now be another belt. Like I want to belt up at jujitsu. Um, yeah, my goals are personal.
No, no, that's
Personal with
fine.
wrestling, it's fine. Okay, because I'm like with wrestling, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of like wrestling to me is a wonder ball, and I'm kind of just going with it. And whatever happens, happens. Whatever opportunity I get, I'm fucking running. Like I'm taking it and I'm going. But I learned the hard way with wrestling is like I can set my goals, but it's all about like that opportunity. Like it's random. My opportunities with wrestling have all been random. The people I've wrestled, all been random. Like I've wrestled, Leila Grey, like AEW stars, former WWE stars. I wrestled AAA star talent. I've wrestled talent from like Japan. So it's one of those like it's been random and just going with it. So wrestling, like I really don't have a short term goal and a long term goal. It's just whatever happens, happens. But short term, I want abs. Long term, I want to belt up in jiu-jitsu because I want to be a bad bitch.
Right, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, I want to elaborate on something you mentioned about your short-term goal about the abs. Do you
Mhm.
consider wrestling still considered to be a visual appearance wise when it comes to the women's wrestling?
Yes, I do. I think it's still all about appearance, and that kind of sucks. Because
Uh,
there's. Okay, sorry.
no, I agree. I agree with you on
Oh,
that.
okay. It sucks. It's like yes, we all want to be cute. We all want to be cute. Every girl wants to be cute. Every guy wants to be cute. We want to, be looked at and like, oh yeah, they look good. But at the end of the day, like your look doesn't it doesn't cover your lack of skills or like your talent. Like if you know how to do this, freaking get in there and do it. And like anybody who enters the ring, I have full respect for them because this shit is not easy. It
I agree.
hurts. Like everybody's like, oh, I said the no, it hurts. It hurts. But it also like it drives you. So it's like if you're gonna step in there, know know what you're doing. Like always sharpen your skills. Like you never stop learning. Just because you've been in the industry freaking 5, 10 years, you never stop learning, and you have to always work on your fundamentals. And you can tell the people who rely more on their looks versus their skills. And it's like, if God gave you to you and you blessed, cool, baby, but let your wrestling skills show and the set a different standard. Like set a different standard. Especially like, there's I know little girls that are my niece and I have my best friend, her daughter, and all. They want to wrestle, and it's one of those like let's help change the vision from these girls to girls to know that like let's wrestle, and know how to wrestle, and let your talent for yourself, and not because you have to have your tits out and booty shirts or whatever. If you do, cool, that's cool. You want to glitter up, dale, mom.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be the reason why you get to where you get to. And I feel like yeah, like to a certain extent, it's still everything's about looks and it'll change. It'll change. We're gonna change that. It's gonna change.
Let's hope. Let's
But
hope. Be honest with you,
mhm,
claro que sí. I hope that's something that we could change. It's still unfortunately is a minor, a little bit visual. Let's even in the podcast game, it's still visual.
mhm,
Guys and gals will watch girls that don't know nothing about the wrestling business or break down the wrestling content because they think that a nipple might slip out. Seriously, I'm gonna be totally
Yeah,
raw and
yeah,
honest with you.
yeah,
Rather than someone who's been watching wrestling for over 40 plus years or knows about the psychology, the collarable tie up, the bumps, but they have no time to listen to someone break down, or this is what's happening storyline wise, but they'll go watch someone who's ditzy, which is kind of wrong, because
yeah,
we want to break that stereotype for the women, because then they translate that into wrestling, and it's a tough one. Unfortunately, we're in the visual
yeah.
business, unfortunately, but hopefully your hard work, ladies like yourself and others that we have, with your hard work in ring skill set, could change that stereotype. Who cares? We want to see some ladies who entertain us, because if you wanted to see
Yeah.
a visual, there's a whole entire genre of another channel that you could go watch, where you could see what you want to
Facts.
see. We want to see people entertain us with the art, the beautiful art that's professional wrestling, Angie, and I appreciate that.
Facts. Facts.
Now, one of my final questions, because we're wrapping up real quick, I don't want to take too much of your time. If you need to improve something currently right now, what is it that you need? Is it your more in ring, or your cardio in the ring, or your promos? What is something that what's your strength, and what you need work at?
Um, everything, everything. Like if I'm being honest, I feel like I know I have to work on everything, and I have to get better, because like I just said, like you don't stop learning, you stay learning, because we stay learning, evolving, and changing, and getting with the time. Like what worked for me last year is not going to work for me this year. I have to change that.
Love it.
I have gotten better with like my mic work, because I talk a lot of crap. I talk a lot of crap, but when I get on the mic, I used to freeze up, and I'm like, it's like that's the one thing I should not be doing, but I did. Um, so like I've gotten better with my mic work, but where my strength is at now, and it's because I was really bad with it, was working on the fly and thinking on the fly, adjusting. Like if something doesn't go according to plan, it's like, okay, adjust and do something else. I was so bad where I would like stop and be, oh, and it's like you can't stop. So now it's like that's my one of my biggest strengths. It's like, okay, we live. There is no go back. It is what it is. We eat this and we go. My weakness, though, I feel like it's just overall, I have to work on everything, everything, everything.
All right, I like that answer, because that should be the answer. We're not perfect.
Mhm.
I could talk. I could sell ice to an Eskimo. Well, you got to get better at that. If you don't practice, you don't do it. There's gonna be that one Eskimo you ain't gonna be able to sell that ice
Yes,
to. Yeah. So I love
yes,
that answer. Love
yes.
that answer. Love that answer. I love the fact. I love that whole entire positivity vibe. With you, and knowing that you're still humble. You're very. But me, when I got out of this interview here, you're extremely humble. That's hungry. That appreciates your opportunities. Your love to reconnecting love again in professional wrestling. And Angie, I wish you nothing but more of the great success in this business. Whatever we
Thank
could do
you.
to help you promote, your matches, even if you're in California. I will use our social media platforms to like tell that to all our talents. Prove us. We willing to retweet, repost, collaborate, tag us. When we at the end of the day, we want you to succeed. Every one of our talents that have come on our
Thank you.
show, we want you guys all to succeed, because we could say I had the privilege and the conversation to know her story, his story, their story. And I could appreciate when you guys are in the big time. Maybe most of you maybe some of you might not draw a dime in this business, but I appreciate you shared your story and love with me on my platform, on my channel. And I thank you again so much. Guys, this is the Heal the
Thank
Ring
you for having
podcast on
me.
the Sports Jedi Network. Don't go anywhere, because when we say goodbye, I want to thank you out after we go off the stream. I want to wrap this up. Please book Miss Savage, Angie Savage, at savagebebesita@gmail.com. Reach out to her. All her information is on the video description on my YouTube channel, where you can follow her on all her social media on Instagram. Please don't be creepy in the DMs. Be nice, be
Yeah,
cordial, say hello,
yeah.
tell her how much you appreciate her, because she will Singapore your ass via Instagram or DM. So don't mess with her, but still support. I appreciate you. So we're going to say goodbye here from the Heal the Ring podcast, on the Sports Jedi Network channel. This is your host, BX Sports Jedi Kev,
Bye.
and Bebesita Mala. Remember, don't let life pin you. Get over. Do not always kick out. And may the sports be with you. Lo vemos. Que Dios lo bendiga a todo. See you guys.